Ask the Mayor. Your chance to ask the Mayor of Weymouth, Bob Hedlund, questions about the town of Weymouth and or anything else that you have concerns about. Ask the Mayor is pre-recorded. And now, here's Bob Hedlund.
All right, welcome to another edition of Ask the Mayor. I'm your, Mayor, Bob Hedlund.
Congratulations.
And our citizen inquisitor slash advocate, citizen advocate, Jim Melody is with us as usual. And we strove for a record in the last show, Jim, and according to an audit of the show, we got 6 questions in, which is not bad. And I think there were 2 or 3 follow-ups as part of that. Once again, we are taping this with a live studio audience. It's the second time we've done that. They made absolutely no noise, so people probably don't believe that we actually had a live studio audience. So to prove the point that we do live studio audience, can we make a little noise and let everyone know we're here? and part of the live studio audience, we'll give a shout out to Liam Herlihy, correct? And he's a young man who takes some interest in government and politics and wanted to come up and meet me, took a quick tour. It's not like a tour of the State House here. It's a tour that takes about 2 minutes right here.
And he's back.
They decided to sit in and watch this taping. He's interested. Unfortunately for us, he lives in the North Shore, but his roots are here in Weymouth, and his family's here with him from North Weymouth. So we welcome him.
Liam said his first order of business, if he becomes mayor in the next 6 months, is to cancel school for the upcoming 2016, 17, 18.
He lives in the same town as our governor, Charlie Baker. I asked him, do you encounter the governor around town? And he says he's bumped into him a few times.
There you go. The governor and the mayor, he's running in fast company. Well, we welcome all guests.
What was he doing when you bumped into him? In a store or just out walking?
Yeah.
Walking a dog, walking, what?
With his family.
With his family, interesting.
Personal friend of Mayor Bob Hedlund's, from I recall.
I guess.
There we have it. Well, listen, I know you're...
Sometimes. Depends on the issue.
Well, one of the themes that the mayor...
I read something today. I was a little bit perplexed by him today, but overall I think he's doing a good job. And he's been good to Weymouth, so.
He was kind enough to come to your swearing-in ceremony the other day. How often will he do something like that? That would be unusual, I would imagine.
Actually, I didn't even think of inviting him. I figured he was too busy. He called me up and said, can I come down?
Oh, son of a gun.
Yeah.
Wow, he seems like a good guy.
Yep.
Awesome. You guys said you were both reps together, is that, or the
No,
senators?
he was never a rep.
Oh, he was never a rep.
He was actually, he started as he was actually a selectman. Prior to becoming governor, the only elected position he held was selectman in Swampscott.
You're kidding me.
No.
Oh, so there's hope for Hagen yet.
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, we're going to get one of the mayor's themes. I want to make sure everybody's clear on this. He wants more questions. He wants rapid-fire questions. He wants more
Well, we are responding
information.
to criticism from viewers. Do you
Yeah,
remember?
the singular one. We get a lot of positive feedback too, Robert. The jib jab is happening, baby. I'm making T-shirts for all of us. All right, well, listen, Ed Hartnett has become a new friend of the show, and we appreciate those questions. Ed, and for everybody else, once again, we'd like to remind folks.
He's back again. I believe he wrote a question in the last show.
In fact, he did. The questions, please, if you'd like to send a question and to ask the mayor's show, it's askmayorbob@gmail.com.
And tell us what part of town you're from.
I'm a South Weymouth.
No, not you.
Right down the road.
Not you. I'm saying the questioners when they write in.
Oh,
it'd be
okay.
Nice,
Jeez,
it'd be nice. No, it'd be nice to know what neighborhood they're from. Maybe. I know we had some North Weymouth dominated shows.
Yes,
which we joked about. So it'd be nice to know where the questions are coming in from.
I think that's
sometimes we can tell from the basis of the question.
Sure.
Right.
Well, this one is more general. Ed is writing in, and he says, "Question: Hello, Mayor Hedlund. My question is, what time of the year are the street sweepers out to clear the gutters and sewers? I have been out for walks and noticed many streets, main and side, where the sweeper has not come down and clogged up sewers are blocked so badly you could hardly know where they are. Whose responsibility is to clean it, both the town and the residents? Thank you for your time, Ed.
I gotta say, Ed, great question. It's a pet peeve of mine.
Oh boy!
And I'm a cyclist, so I'm out on my bike, so I'm close to it. Believe me, and I see it. And it was one of the things I had hoped to impact to a greater degree as a candidate than I've been able to as a mayor. And I had this grand vision to have like a dedicated sweeper out there on a daily basis. And with our DPW staffing, I cannot do that. I have worked directly with the DPW director on how the scheduling happens, but The way it occurs currently is they have a schedule to get to every street in the spring and maybe in the fall. I could stand to be corrected on that. But then there's major roads that get attention sooner. And periodically we will be able to get sweepers out kind of on an on-call basis, depending on the condition of the road and if it needs some attention. I'd love to have one DPW staffer dedicated to sweeping, but with the staffing that we have and a community this size, it's not feasible. So it's something we try to stay on top of, but that's the answer.
So there is kind of a seasonality to it. I listen from the peanut gallery. Those things don't seem to be very effective for a guy who's just driving around. I've seen those, the big trucks, right?
They are.
What is their? They I don't really understand what they do. Those roundy things go and they fly the dirt around. I will say that, it's not so great in other communities either. And as someone, as I said, get out on my bicycle, Hingham, pretty bad. And I had a conversation over there with their, not director, but a foreman on what their schedule was. And it made me feel a little better that Weymouth's sweeping schedule is actually more aggressive than Hingham's. And they got a lot more resources than we do. I always hate to put you on the spot when I start asking for specific numbers on things like this equipment. How many of those trucks do we have? Do you have any idea?
That's a good question. I think we have. It's not actually the quantity, but the quality, and they have upgraded. But we have, I think. I better not answer that.
Right, no problem.
I do know that we invested, since I've been mayor, in a sidewalk street sweeper. So you've seen it at times, and I saw it on Pleasant Street recently with the sidewalk sweeper going on ahead, and then you'll see two sweepers in tandem. Same dynamic when you see a snow plow, by having one closer to the curb and one further out. One of the new ones we have is super efficient, and it doesn't look like a traditional street sweeper, the funny looking
unit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those things look like they cost $400,000.
The newest one we have is actually on a regular truck chassis, and the sweeping functions are more in the rear, and that's pretty effective as a larger capacity before you have to empty it. So they have upgraded, and I want to say we got 3 frontline pieces on that.
Sure. Just because Ed took the time to edit his own question a number of times and I missed it, for the sake of it all, Ed was referring to storm drains, not sewer drains. For I think you spoke to kind of the general issue.
Yeah, I don't know what the schedule is on the catch basin cleanup. I have seen the truck out, and I know we have one new frontline piece for that, and I think there's a backup for the new clamshell, it's called. But it's interesting. Some communities have privatized that function. We still do it in house, but I think that. Overall, I think the DPW has stepped up their game over the last year and a half, to be honest with you.
The theme, again, for most of these questions from last show and this is that the town's looking better than ever, so definitely we're moving in the right direction.
But I appreciate Ed's attention to detail, and I share that. So
Ed's got more involved in longer question. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but essentially it centers on his interest in would there ever be, or could it be considered that Weymouth would develop a center for performing arts, a dedicated building for a center for the performing arts, like some apparently he believes other towns have something like that. Would the town get in the business of opening a building like that?
I don't know what his definition is of a center for performing arts.
I can be more specific. This venue would operate 12 months a year if it's properly used. It could have a state-of-the-art facility regarding music, or just demonstrating commitment to the arts.
Not fully grasping his context, I will tell you that 2 things that jump out on that question, which I have not seen before. You will see a music venue, pretty significant, I think, if all works out well, at the Union Point development, privately, obviously owned and managed. And then we're having
open space or closed, like a Great Woods type thing, or a more of an enclosed area to be determined.
I don't want to
tip your hand. Okay.
I don't want to get ahead of what they're working on.
Okay.
And announce something that they haven't announced yet, but I will tell you that generally it'll be, yes, a state-of-the-art.
Okay.
Pretty significant seating. It's something that Weymouth would be great for the town to be the host community for something like that.
Dynamite.
And then as part of the Chapman School project, we're having a discussion, and if you have that much of an interest, come to our meetings, go to the website, go to the Facebook page. We're seeking input, on things like this for the Chapman Project and what an auditorium or what a performing arts center there should look like.
Same train, same track. I subscribe to Boston Magazine, and they're sponsoring the Boston Film Festival, and they have an illustration. Union Point there's an illustration of the community, and there's a huge lake. Is that I haven't, there's no lake or pond area out there. So I'm not putting you on the spot. They've put this in Boston Magazine. So is there plans
they're going to create a lake or pond or however you want to call it as part of their, they think it's a nice feature, number one. And
first I've heard of any of that.
Given the drainage and retention plan, they think they can create that. So that's what they're doing.
All right, interesting. Yeah, when I saw that illustration, I was like, whoa, of all the things we've heard going on down there.
Was that one or two questions? We're not
I'll hold this up. This is actually a small novel.
Okay, so that counts as one, so we're not going to break our record in the show.
I think you're a little sensitive when I bring up Union Point. I'm just
No,
curious.
I'm not sensitive about that. I'm sensitive about getting to the questioners. I'm turning into the citizen advocate here.
Then that would make me the mayor. A chicken in every pot. All right, dear Mayor, I love the 70s music like you, and I definitely have my favorite, so I'm always amused at how much we are alike. So I was wondering if you had a chance to have dinner with one rocker from the past, dead or alive, who would you choose? Thanks. Wow. This came in anonymously. Ted Nugent lives on, according to
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive, exactly.
I would have to go with someone dead because then someone who's alive, the potential is there to still have dinner with them, right?
Such as John Cougar, for instance.
One wish. No, it wouldn't be John Cougar. John Mellencamp, you mean?
My daughter was
speaking of the 70s, questioner, he would be stuck in the 70s. Great question. We could do the rest of the show on this.
Almost on cue. We've got some music playing in the background.
Name that.
That's your fault.
Name that tune. Name that tune. Easy. The young guys working the camera even.
Oh, it's Heart, Barracuda.
Very good, Jim.
Oh, you're a Heart fan.
Well, that's the ringtone.
Okay.
so I would have to say, in answer to the questioner's question, it would be Ronnie Van Zant of Leonard Skinner, who obviously is no longer with us, who perished in that plane crash just outside Macomb, Mississippi.
79, maybe?
77.
77?
Yeah. And I was actually, the morning after the plane crash, which I didn't know about at that time, I had money in my pocket to go to Ticketron at Sears and Quincy Center after school to buy tickets for an October performance they were going to do at the Boston Garden. So I was devastated. They were my favorite band at that time. It was the first concert I had ever seen. I saw them earlier that year at the Cape Cod Coliseum. So I would say Ronnie Van Zant would be very interesting to, and I think he was in his early 30s when he died, and I think maybe even younger, but I would have to be prepared for massive quantities of Jack Daniels, I think, given the way they were living at that time. But I would say that. Actually, I had the opportunity to meet some of the original members of the band in 1993.
Rosington Collins.
Only one, and I had a beer with only one member of the band at that time because it was Skinner after they reformed, 20th anniversary of the Fox Theater, where they recorded their live album One More from the Road.
Where was that recorded? The Fox Theater.
Fox Theater in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So the only member of the band at that point that was not sober and was sharing a beer with us was Randall Hall, who was filling in for Alan Collins, who had come down with hepatitis and was suffering the effects of a motorcycle crash, a car crash, and he ultimately died shortly thereafter. But Billy Powell was sober at that point, and bass player Leon Wilkerson. They were sober at that point.
Was Rosington the lead guitar player? There was Rosington Collins band, I know.
Gary Rosington was still with the band, yes, and the singer was Johnny Van Zant, younger brother for Ronnie.
I saw that tour. I think that was 79 when they first came around with the Rosington Collins. We know you to be a rocker. I don't know you to be a Southern rocker.
You saw Rosington Collins?
We did. I think it was in 79 at Springfield Civic Center.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And Gary Rosington's wife, who did lead vocals, is one of the backup singers for Leonard Skinner right now, who will be performing at the Social Music Circus, I believe, next week.
Do you get down there much for many shows?
Not lately, but I hope to.
One of the best songwriters in the history of songwriting, Mr. Van Zandt.
Excellent.
All right, well, listen, we're moving on to back to Weymouth. As a baseball mother, dear Mayor Hedlund, as a baseball mother, our family is so happy to see the groundbreaking of Libby Field playing on WETC last week.
Oh, good.
Do you have any idea?
Playing on
did you broadcast that live?
It couldn't be last week. It just went up this week. Right?
Well, then this is coming in quick. Do you have any idea of when Weston Field will be worked on? I'm trying to avoid that.
I can see it from here.
All right. You're now the English teacher? I'm sorry.
No, I'm your optometrist.
As a baseball mother, our family is so happy to see the groundbreaking of Libby Field playing on WETC this week. Do you have any idea of when Weston Field will also be worked on? Thank you, Sophia L., a baseball mother in town.
I can. Weston Park groundbreaking coming up soon, very soon.
Can you be a little more vague?
I forgot what date. I don't even know if we have a date set, but it's coming up soon. This is nice because we like a little prop here.
Oh yeah, tell everybody about that baseball. It's cool.
So instead of giving out some commemorative shovels for Libby, I got the idea to give away a couple baseballs. And we had some baseballs laying around, but we bought a cheap little stamp, and they're all stamped Libby groundbreaking with the date.
By the Green Acres
And
Landscaping
trying to
Company.
read that, I need to see my optometrist.
Did you wear glasses, by the way? I'm very impressed.
I just got them for reading newsprint, yes.
A son of a gun.
Yeah, it's the aging process, Jim, has, as you can see from my face, has begun in full bloom. So.
It's, what do they say? The presidency adds, 10 years to your life. Do you feel like you're aging more rapidly since you become the mayor? That's a Jim Melody question. That wasn't written in by anyone.
A little bit.
He's growing old right before our eyes.
So we appreciate the feedback from Carol. Libby's going to be a gem.
Well, that was Sonia. We're going to get to the Carol question. Seeing that you can read so well.
It's going to be a gem, and the playing conditions for a long time for Weymouth baseball has been pretty bad at that level, at the higher levels. And this field's going to be a gem. I think we're going to have the nicest field in the conference, maybe. I'm not an expert on the other fields in the conference, but this is going to be a real nice one.
Well, let me tell you, as a soccer parent for the last 4 or 5 years who's been on the road, it's night and day. Almost every other town has got beautiful playing facilities with the exception of our fair town, and things are changing for the good, obviously. So that's really exciting for anybody who's got a kid playing youth sports in this town. So thanks for that great work. It's definitely very important. It just helps redefine the town. We want to remind everybody to keep the questions coming in at askmayorbob@gmail.com, askmayorbob@gmail.com. All right, now you had the wherewithal to catch the fact that Carol sent us in a question. So here's Carol's question. Hi, Mayor. I see a lot of activity going on at the amphitheater. What is happening there? Also, now that the start of school is just around the corner, how is the Adams Middle School drop-off pickup traffic decided? In my opinion, there's too much traffic impacting the town hall parking lot by these crazy parents. Why can't the kids walk, for heaven's sakes? Thank you, Carol B. All right, so there's 2 questions here. Number 1 is, I see a lot of activity going on at the amphitheater. What's happening there? So what's happening at the amphitheater?
Did she say crazy parents?
Yes, she did say crazy parents. I happen to know many of them, and I support her perspective.
I don't want to sound like an old curmudgeon. We have enough of them in this town already, but it does trouble me that, I never got picked up from school. Did you?
No, I walked.
Even if I missed the bus,
we had lousy parents.
If I missed the bus, in junior high, it was a long haul. I wouldn't even imagined in my wildest dreams turning around, going back home and saying I needed a ride. It never happened.
Absolutely.
Never mind on a daily basis, but everybody has been sensitized and thinks their kid's going to get snatched, and it's
stranger
all of that.
danger.
And I read an interesting article that is like actually the same number, or actually less abductions of children now than in the 1950s and 60s. But everything is so immediate and sensationalized. I guess we think that if our kid walks to school, he's going to get kidnapped.
This is why we get along. We agree on many issues. I'm completely supportive of that perspective. Somewhat of a myth.
It is, and we can get into talking about childhood obesity rates and things like that, and it's probably a contributing factor. The inactivity. So it's frustrating for town hall staff, and I don't know Carol
As Barracuda comes on again. Go ahead. But I'm rarely around here when school's out. Is it a big McGilla? Is there all kinds of cars and
You
parents?
asking me why I feel old in the mayor's? Because the phone doesn't stop ringing day and night. That's the worst part of the job. And that's just one cell phone of two. But I would say that it's frustrating for us too, Carol, because we have two dynamics going here at Town Hall. If you come to Town Hall during the school year to conduct business, it can be very frustrating trying to find a place to park. And we have a lot of elderly, for some reason, don't like to use stamps. They like the immediacy of coming to Town Hall and paying.
Oh, no kidding. Dropping off, huh?
Yes, and it bothers me sometimes when we see, an elderly driver come in here and can't find a parking spot to come in and pay a bill or do some Town Hall business, because we have competition with teachers.
Oh, is that with the teachers park as well?
At the middle school, at Abigail, who also don't like to walk, and sometimes take Town Hall parking because they might work at this end of the building. So there's conflict between the school department and Town Hall sometimes for that parking out there. And yes, it probably will be impacted a little bit until November or late October when we have the work completed on the memorial wall. And the other part of her question, I believe, is what is going on. So the memorial wall is being rebuilt, and this is something that the town has tried to do for a long, long time. It had footing issues, which is why the cost is as significant as it is. It isn't just repointing bricks. Sections of the wall to be taken down for new footing or foundation, if you will. It's extensive, complete rebuild of the wall. We hope to have it done, and we believe we're going to have it done in time for a rededication that will be done in conjunction with the Veterans Day ceremonies in November. So there'll be a little overlap, Carol, from the start of the school year in September into October.
Interesting.
And we're going to use this as an opportunity to try to manage the parking lot here a little better and try to get a little more cooperation with the school department.
How about no teachers parking this lot, maybe?
Well, there's an MOU or something that kind of codifies the parking up there. And if you're in the upper lot, the first row is supposed to be for school personnel, and the row facing Town Hall in the upper lot is supposed to be for Town Hall business.
Go figure.
And it's not scientific, since we're on this little rant, but on days where there is a school, no school, and Town Hall is open, you can kind of just look out the window, and unscientifically you see
The
a
difference.
vast amount of parking and where it is. So we do know that sometimes a teacher could be running late or something and slips in there. And by the way, the parents, you have signs out here.
The crazy parents.
I'm not saying that. That was the questioner. That was the advocate who's advocating for you. Crazy
I'm one
people.
of them.
So the other interesting thing is sometimes I'd be walking across the parking lot when Abigail's getting out, and you see parents who are parked in live parking for people who are supposed to be doing Town Hall business.
Oh boy.
Because they're not supposed to
Sure, it's
do
one
any
way.
pickup
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
but they sneak in, and you always know which ones they are when I'm walking across the parking lot and I look, and they kind of try to avoid making eye contact with you, and you know they're waiting
I wanted
for
to
their
apologize
kids.
to you for that.
And then the other thing is they're all idling out there. When it's too cold for them, they don't shut the engine. When it's too hot, they leave and they're all idling, and that's another issue. But
I can't imagine what the school season must be like, because I honestly couldn't find a parking space here this morning, and here we are in the middle of the summertime, so it's got to get crazy.
I mean, it is what it is.
Not to overuse that
And you know, seeing the kids out there playing is like music to my ears when I'm at the desk here and everything. But I don't get the whole can't walk to school anymore thing in this country, and it bothers me.
Well, listen, on that note, as a school theme here, Phyllis Powers writes in, it says, in regards to a new middle school, would it be possible to build a brand new high school at Union Point and change the current high school to a middle school? Also, since you have become mayor, the town has never looked better. Once again, another positive remark regarding the overall look of the town.
Thank you for the compliment.
Yeah, what's going on? That's the Powers family. That's
answer-
from the Powers family, not just Phyllis, by the way.
Thank you for the compliment. Short answer in your question would be no. I think it would not be geographically desirable to,
Move that high school to Union Point?
well, you know, having a middle school at one end of the town.
Yeah,
unless it's a
actually, you're
central
right.
location,
Yeah,
could be a
geez.
problem.
It's 20 minutes across
North
town
Weymouth
anyway.
We talked about this before, actually.
Yeah,
North
no,
Weymouth
it's come
kids
up,
might
yeah.
not be happy taking a half-hour bus ride across town.
It really takes that amount of time.
And
Get the PC high almost as fast.
the cost of, I mean, we're going to have a struggle to finance our share of the new middle school. Never mind, you know, building a new high school and then retrofitting and relocating and all that. That would be a little out of reach. And we're actually already into the process with the school, or the state school building authority, that would really not allow us to kind of shift gears at this point on something like that.
Let's have those kids from North Weymouth walking in Union Point. We'll have the fittest students. We'll have the fittest students in the South Shore. Hey, we want to remind everybody to send those questions to askmayorbob@gmail.com. Askmayorbob@gmail.com. If you can believe it, we're getting to the tail end of another exciting episode, Bob. Let's try to do a couple quick ones. Well, we'll count them up afterwards. Let's do real quick. From Ed Hartnett, once again, writes in, Dear Mayor Hedlund, my question is, I've seen a lot of work being done at the Whipple Center, and some of the work seems to be in limbo. What's the status of the project there? Handicap ramp and gazebo not done, and landscaping. Railing for the handicap ramp has also not been completed. That gazebo it's the Carl Powers, I wonder if that one was related to Carl at all. That's the Powers gazebo, if I'm not mistaken.
So he uses the word in limbo. Nothing's in limbo.
Okay, that's all moving forward.
I would say that before taking office, I would say the whole Whipple Center was in limbo for decades, because nobody did anything down there until I became mayor. And the first thing we did was to prioritize some of our available funding to address these issues that were neglected for a long time.
So work in
the
progress.
lack of air conditioning, the parking lot, which looked like a neutron bomb.
Yeah,
hit
absolutely.
or one of those bunker buster bombs hit it. We did some basic things that needed to be done. The floor in the gymnasium, which is the main meeting area for seniors there. The windows, improvements to some of the rooms, the computer center, the parking lot, which was atrocious. I'm going to leave out a whole bunch of things because it's a long laundry list, but the gazebo was just kind of an accoutrement we did. There's a pickleball field being set up. Do you know what pickleball is?
I'm not. I didn't want to extend this, but
neither do I, but I guess it's popular. We did a walking trail.
Is it a seniors thing or a kids thing, pickleball?
I guess it's a senior thing. We did a walking trail along the perimeter, some drainage work out there. So a lot of work's been done. We did a cost-effective way of doing the pavilion. We got a really good price on one, and we've been using some of the VOTEC as part of that work. So that's why the scheduling of it has been what it's been. But we're on target for a dedication for everything this fall.
Oh, great.
So
we got to keep that away from
I
the.
was told that 2 days ago.
We got to keep that away from the town treasury. He's wondering very quickly: is there any plans to replace the town hall? Has that outgrown its usefulness according to Ed? He wants to see a lot of buildings.
Now we have actually, you could get a camera shot behind me. We have significant water infiltration in the building, and the council did approve a measure that we put forward to do some waterproofing and address flashing and repairs to significant water damage that's happening to this building. Some additional neglect of a town asset that went on for some time.
Well, listen, as Bob looks to finish that question, we need to acknowledge the fact that we've run out of time at another exciting episode of Ask the Mayor. So please, again, keep the questions coming in at askmayorbob@gmail.com. Bob, very quickly, can you tell us what's the history of that Movie Loft mug? How the heck did you get that?
Well, we play
it's
off
a classic.
We joke around about TV 38 a lot
Sure.
here because the old TV 38, WSBK, Ask the Manager was the inspiration for Ask the Mayor. And we're fortunate to have Dana Hersey, who did the voice, and he was the inquisitor on the old
As he was, for sure.
the manager, to do the voiceover for our intro. And I walked in one day, and this was on my desk. A little elf left it, and it's pretty cool since.
And you don't know who the gift giver was?
It might have been the chief of staff, but we'll pin that down and find out. But I just thought it was pretty cool.
And you're definitely not sure who gave you that?
Correct.
So I'd like to say that was me, and I took it out of my old duffel bag. You guys, thanks again for everybody tuning in. Have a great summer. Stay tuned for the Movie Loft.
Oh, we did that last show, Jim.
Oh, darn it. Hogan's Heroes? Have a great summer.
If you have a question, please email the mayor at askmayorbob@gmail.com. That's askmayorbob@gmail.com. Maybe your question will be answered on the next episode of Ask the Mayor.